I'm gonna move the camera over here. Let's see. Yeah, about like that. I guess you can see that. I've got some sheetrock screws. They're I'm using 2.5s, and this is called coarse thread. Okay, using an 1/8 inch drill bit. I only stick a little bit of the drill bit in there so I have as long as possible to get out there. Okay, I just tighten it up like that, get it on high. And what I'm going to end up doing, okay, is drilling some holes in here. I'm going to try to suck this door jamb back in that way. Okay. I do it like this. I could do it right out here without messing with this at all. But then you got to patch that and it looks bad. You see? Go with the extra effort. Because once I get done, it's going to look like I wasn't even here. Now I stick that on low, ram this thing in there, and generally the head will push in, and I'll either sink it in or at least get it flush. Last thing I want is for that to snap off. I've snapped some heads off before, and see, 2.5 seems to work pretty good. I used to use 3-inch and just drive it in there, and I might have to pre-drill the hole a little bit more and stuff and drive it. Just depends how old your studs are back there, and then you could have a possibility of snapping the screw off. I've done that before. Once you snap the screw off, you put another one in, chances are you're not going to suck it. You're not going to be able to suck the wood in any further because you've got the broken off threads of the other screw, the broken off screw in there that's preventing the wood to push in any further. So that's why sometimes if the 3-inch is not working all the way, you can try 2.5. Other places you try a 2.5 and it pushes in. Maybe you could have gotten it a little bit tighter with the 3-inch if you felt you needed to push it even further, you know. But 2.5 seems to be working pretty good for me anyways. And I like to pre-drill the holes because I don't want to crack the door jamb, you know. And if it sinks in a little bit further, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. And I know, you know, these screws are not going to do it, are they? So now I'm going to put a smaller drill bit in here. And I can do this with the hinge on, or in this case, I'm gonna leave it out and out of the way because I can flop the door way over there. If you had a wall here and the door's coming out of here, you can do it. You're gonna have to. Sometimes you have to remove the door entirely, but on this particular case, I don't have to do that. Okay, I only want to put this in enough to grab it, because if I put it in all the way, then this gets shorter and then it doesn't come out as far as I want it. So I put it on high, and I'm going to put these in at an angle. And I don't want to get caught in the same hole, so I have to go over this like that. Now once I get it started, now I can kind of come back. Yeah. Start it like at a 45, and when you start feeling it, now I can come over. Oh, what am I hitting? I don't think I'm hitting the screw. Might be hitting the nail inside there. Okay. I think there might be a nail holding the casing on there, and I might have hit it, so I just angled my drill just a hair, and I got it. Went right up, slid it right up over that. Or it could have, you know, it could have been a knot or a nail, another type of nail on the framing. Okay, so now instead of using these small hinge screws, I've got the same type of screw. I had to take these to the store. I'm using 2-inch. And I'm going to put it back in with the 2-inch. Now see right there, it wants to fall back into the same hole. And if I drive this in, I'm just screwing right into the edge of the sheetrock. That's why I drilled holes at an angle. I gotta find that angle, and there it is. Oh, come on. Might have to do this one first. I'm trying to find the pre-drilled one. There it is. Okay. I can get this one in. Looks like that hinge could be tapped ever so little. How am I going to do that? That looks pretty good. Need another screw in there. Sometimes on those outside ones you might have to use 2.5-inch screws, but those 2-inch seem to be okay. Okay, now I know I'm going to have to work on the next one up, but just for kicks, before I do that, and before I stop the camera, you're going to see what I see. I'm going to just take this off the tripod. You're going to see what I see when we close this. Let's just see how well just that did on our gap down here at the bottom of the door. Look at that. See there? Isn't that nice? We didn't have that before, did we? And look up at the top. Look. Did you see that? The door's closing up there. Isn't it? It's not even hitting. All I've done so far is I've worked on this one hinge. So I've got it in there nice and snug in there. It even looks like the hinge on the actual door has a slight gap on it too. I don't know what that's going on. But see, this gap is less now because I sucked that in. And see, we don't have, like right here, if you were to put a straight edge on this door jamb, you would see from here to here, it bows out. It bows out that way, right in there. And I'm going to fix that by doing the same thing to this hinge. I'm going to pop that hinge off. I'm going to put the big screws in, and that should drive this in, depending on how tight the shims are behind the door jamb right there. And even if they're kind of snug, the reason why you put in those screws so tight, you can even push those shims in there just snug. You know what I mean? So I'm going to work on that right there. And because that lowered, let's take a look at this. Let's get up here on the ladder. Let's get up there and see. By moving that over, remember I said that was going to lessen this gap on the side. Remember that big gap we had over here? Well, now it's less because this door dropped down that way. So this gap is less, but look at the top. Isn't that nice? I think I'm going to shave off a little bit, maybe from here to there, just on the top of this door, and kind of clean that off. I can see A little bit up in there, not very much. So, man, I almost fixed that just by doing that. Okay? That's making me feel good. Feels good doing things on your own. Man, I almost fixed that just by doing that. Okay? That's making me feel good. Feels good doing things on your own and knowing certain things. You see this? This is that bottom hinge. It's not even in the door properly. And that's why there was a gap right there. So I'm going to work on that next. Let's just see. Put this back on here. I'm not quite sure what's happening with that. No idea. Dio, what's happening with that? Why it's not going in tight? And more than likely, there's something there preventing it. It looks like something happened there once upon a time because they used a longer screw in the middle. And see, there's that wood stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's anything in here chewing away inside this door. And see, that's that. Let's get you in here. See that stuff? Look at that ridge it's caused to lift that out. I don't know what that's from. Remember we had the same issue right over there. So we're just gonna clean that off a little bit. I don't know what that was. I know it's not supposed to be there. I'm hoping that these hinge screws will go back in there without... There, I have to close this door a little bit. You know, I might have to take the hinge pin off so that I can get that in there nice and tight, because see, I'm having an issue with that, and last thing I want is to make those holes any bigger, right? So I'm gonna go out here, take that hinge pin out. My nail set, tap it in, up like that. My electrical cutters, I just use that to hold on to the pin. Well, I could have just lifted it out, but sometimes if it's hard, if it's down there, you can grab that like that and use that, tap it up with that. Now I'm not going to put this on the carpet, I'm going to be careful with that. So let's go back on the other side and keep the camera rolling. Keep the camera rolling. Just don't usually have issues like this, but you know. See, now I can take that and I can hold that in there, nice, like that. It's almost. I'm not sure what had caused that, but. And I'm gonna tighten those up by hand, hoping that they go in. Either twisting just a little, and I might see. This is a hollow core door, and even if I use longer screws, it might not tighten up. But see, this one's a little bit longer. Somebody used that. I usually like to stop it and then do the last little bit by hand. And see, that snugged it up. See how nice and snug that is. And in fact, You know, I don't think anything's going to happen with these two because all the weight is on here, but I do have some 1.5 long screws. I'm going to take one of those out and see if it won't suck it up tighter. Depending how wide this style is, maybe I can get through the 3/4 and grab some more meat. So I'll get those screws and be right back.